All right. We're here at literally the crack of dawn because it's the only time that I'm really able to be free and do this video today. And it is the start of the season. I am anticipating that a lot of people are just tuning in to me for the first time this season. Happy race day, Ross. Happy to see you. Just a heads up, I'm streaming on both the True DFS channel, the PayDirt channel, my personal YouTube channel, and the PayDirt X account. For those that don't know, True DFS merged with PayDirt at the beginning of February of this year. Um, the merger has just had the two companies merged together, right? So what does that mean from a consumer standpoint? It means that if you had a True DFS subscription, and we've sent out emails and stuff, so everybody should be informed. But this should be the last time I bring it up, just because this is the biggest video of of the start of the season, right? You've already been informed that True DFS as a company, as a website and everything, will cease existing at the end of February. Those who had long links left with their subscriptions and stuff had already been informed of refunds and stuff like that. If you have access, or if you were a True DFS subscriber, you still have access to SaberSim and everything that True DFS has until the end of the month. If you were a True DFS subscriber, you have received a additional free month of PayDirt at no cost to you. We've already contacted everybody regarding that. If you are interested in joining PayDirt, that's just the company that I'm with now. Same thing, still percentage of the company and stuff. I just merged over with James's company and stuff. There is a code in the description. PD Welcome. That's 50% off your first month if you want access to any of the projections, the portfolio manager, everything that's going on with PayDirt. You can get your first month 50% off. Sheets came over. Bobby came over on top of all the projections that James already had stuff for, and it's just one price. I believe right now it's still, actually, let me just check before I yip yap about what the price is. I don't want to be incorrect. All I know is that it is probably going to go up to 50 at some point. I don't think it's there now. Let me check here. Let's see. Okay, yeah. So it is still currently at $40 a month. I assume that'll go up to either 45 or 50 at the beginning of March, but you get 50% off through or through PD Welcome with the whenever you join. I just woke up like 20 minutes ago, so I'm still waking up. I'm gonna be here for probably an hour and stuff, talking about Daytona, obviously. Now, because I'm with PayDirt, I'm just showing literally nothing on the screen. Everything is behind the paywall this year. So if you feel like, man, you're kind of yapping, kind of all over the place, where's the context for anything? That's why it's all behind the paywall. So when we're looking at the plate races for these races, obviously you want to play the good guys in the back, stack the back, right? There's just no logical, realistic reason to play anybody in the top 10. Right, and it's infuriating and it's tilting, like mad tilting, when the field, like last night, just refuses to pass Austin Hill or Jesse Love. People who start 1-2, carry ownership, and those stupid assholes finish up there. Like, that's just frustrating as literally anything can be. And thank God that's just really Xfinity. We don't have to worry about that for Cup. Now, when we look at the starting grid for today's race, and good morning, Wexka, obviously, good morning, BVP. Good morning, Andy. Yeah, that was a horrific Xfinity Series race. I will share this so everybody can see if I. Where are we at here? As we kind of talk through, I want to find the truck one. Where is the truck one? This has been a pretty, although it's been way worse, actually. Let me check here. Trying to find, yeah. So I mean, everything could be legit, like way worse. I suppose. This is where, obviously just being, transparent and everything for uh everything here. This was the truck race, right? Nobody crashed, okay, and I just got saved by the smaller contest, right? And then the Xfinity Series race, like literally, if any moron just can like pass fucking Austin Hill or Jesse Love, we're probably fine. This has been an extremely like really frustrating group of races to watch. Um, so when I'm looking at today's race, no, for real. Um, when I'm looking at today's race and the starting grid and stuff, now I think this race leans towards a optimal situation where they are coming from at least 19th on back in this race entirely. From 19th to 41st, I think that's where you find the optimal today. There are so many good cars in the back here. I think fading the chalk is impossible, just with all of the good plays and all the good drivers back here. We have a lot of people who I gotta like yawn or something. Hold on. That was not a yawn, dude. That was a cough. I don't know what I'm talking about. Like I said, just woke up. There are a lot of good cars in the back of this field. Okay, we have multiple Hendrick cars, multiple dominant Fords. People expected to be in the top 10 all day. There are multiple alliances already formed back here. There are multiple people who are very good at being optimal starting in positions that they are in. Okay, so I just really think the normal, at least my normal approach, because I'm just yapping about how I approach things. My normal approach of really fading the chalk, I think, is pretty impossible today based on this starting grid. Let's go over the good drivers who are in good equipment. We're not talking about optimal rates here. I'm talking about guys who I expect to be up front all day, or at least compete to finish up front. That's Busher, that's Byron, Chastain, Cindric. Okay, so we have four guys in the back from 36th to 41st who are going to really fight to be optimal. These are good drivers there. Okay, we then have Bubba Wallace, Tyler Reddick at 27th, 26th, right? Denny Hamlin, 22nd, Alex Bowman, 21st. Okay, regardless of what you think of these 8 drivers, okay, good chance 3 to 4 of those guys are fine to be optimal. Even if some guys get wrecked out, even if they like Busher has literally the best floor out of anybody. He just cannot lose you anything. He's scoring 0 right now, but he literally cannot be in the negatives. And that just cannot be understated enough, right? So you have those 8 drivers who are going to be very popular, who are going to be shoved in through a majority of simulations, through diversifiers, through hand builders, whatever, okay? We then move on to people who are very good at being optimal or being very good plays. They ride in the back, they take care of their equipment, whatever. I'm going to start with Cody Ware. Now, he has been running up front in more races recently, okay? Especially at Daytona and Talladega. I don't like that, but he actually just doesn't wreck. He's been up there quite a lot recently. So unfortunate. He used to be a fantastic play because he was very safe and nobody would own him. But he's been more aggressive recently, but he finishes well. So we have Cody Ware, we have Ty Dillon, okay, a man who has been optimal, several times starting the situation here. We have AJ Allmendinger, we have Zane Smith, obviously, Jimmy Johnson, right? So these 5 drivers, I would expect to make it at least 80% of the race. Okay, if there's a wreck early, and I pray to the Lord above that it doesn't happen in the back of the field, right? Like that Xfinity race was like overly tilting for no reason, right? As long as they don't wreck literally in the first 7 laps, I think those 5 drivers can make it to the restart on lap 170. Also, asterisk, hold on, side note, we have rain in the area. This race most likely ends due to weather. Okay, what are we racing towards? I think we're racing towards weather. We moved it up. I mentioned it earlier in the week, and stuff. I think this race ends due to weather. Give me one more second here. Sorry, I just had to like the most gnarly like snarl. Man, I forgot to blow my nose before I got here, so I got all the gunky stuff flying through my throat right now. So we're racing. I think we're just racing the fucking weather, right? I don't think this race sees the full distance. Does that change my approach at all? No, it's a plate race. It doesn't matter. But we're racing to that, right? So aggression might be more prevalent in this race more so than normal. Okay, who haven't I talked about yet? Okay, Justin Allgaier, BJ McLeod. Uh, yes, they are the worst cars in the field. Well, I mean, Casey Mears is, but he's literally unplayable at 14th. We don't worry about him. BJ McLeod and Justin Allgaier. Not concerned about Allgaier running into issues. He made it to the end last year. He's going to ride. They just need to be there at the end, right? I'm not concerned about that. BJ says he wants to race, but he also did not really have the car and the ability to do that in the duels. So it could work both ways. Man, he could say, fuck it, we're going to race. He could ride, whatever kind of, up in the air there. But, the quote unquote shitters or whatever, BJ McLeod and Allgaier probably at least going to finish like 25th, 26th in this race. So, yet again, I just don't think we see anybody optimal coming from like 19th on forward. Okay. We also then have a really strong group of guys that are going to be lower owned in the 20s that I think are very viable to be like the one-offs that work with the chalk of Chris Buescher, of William Byron, of Chastain, with Allgaier, stuff like that. And that's Cole Custer, that's Jones, that's Noah Gragson, that's Riley Herbst, and that's Corey Heim. I think those drivers I just mentioned are going to be used to get lower ownership on the chalk lineups in both hand building and in lineup construction. Okay, now there is an issue here because yes, they're going to be lower owned, but there's just a bigger chance. Like if you have Eric Jones, right, versus Connor Zillage. Connor's just the better play. He has a better floor, better ceiling, right? And just with how even everybody is, if you go with Jones, Gregson, or Custer and stuff, yes, you're gonna be, a lower owned lineup. But like specifically for that 25, like I think you're giving up a lot of like win equity. You're gonna need a lot of people in the back to wreck out if you're getting greedy and taking 2 guys in the 20s, right? Because there's just so many strong people in the back of the field here. So like, for me, that's a real concern that I might actually have all my lineups in, but a real concern that I was running into when I was building last night was, do I lock myself out of actually being able to take down a contest if I get too cute and take too many guys in the 20s that just get outscored by like Jimmy Johnson, Connor Zillage, Corey Heim, Riley Herbst. Last point I want to talk about is the teams, the manufacturers we already have in the back of the field here who are most likely going to stick together. Now, it doesn't really matter with Buescher and Cindric, they're Fords, but they're in the back of the field. They can't lose you anything, right? But the fact that we have Gregson, Wallace, Herbst, Heim all ready together, right? Like those guys are going to be very correlated on how they run, how they push, so on and so forth, right? We have a lot of the Chevy guys in the back of the field who are either, teams that have moved to Chevy this year, teams that are going to work together this year. Okay, look at all the Chevys in the back of the field: Allgaier, Byron, BJ, Ross, AJ, Ty Dillon, Cody Ware. Right, like those guys are going to be very much together and correlated. So like I just don't really know how to realistically get unique today for that 25, which really is a shame. Um, we just had a really funky end to both duels, and we have a bunch of chalk at the back of the field, right? Because they're gonna most likely work, right? Um, Pretty much all of the big contests have already filled on DraftKings, which even I was late on. I went to put my stepson, right? Like whatever. I'm still getting used to that, right? I put him to sleep, and I was like, "Holy Toledo, Batman! I'm about to fucking miss the $5 contest." I only got 138 lineups in there. I was literally like the last person to enter the five, and same thing. Like 5 minutes later, the original $10 contest filled, right? So each of those contests, and I'm just speaking from like a build perspective. Five, has 18,000 people. 10 is 7,000 people. I guess not a concern about duplication or whatever. I'm really, really, really worried about it in the 25. I think like what happens if you get cute, right? Let's use the lowest owned guys here, right? I'll build a lineup with Justin Allgaier. I'll build a lineup with BJ McLeod. Oh, I'll use Cody Ware, Ty Dillon. Okay, we got those four guys, right? Um, I'll pick one driver from inside the top 20. I'll pick one guy, maybe another guy in the not top 20, top 29 as the fifth guy. Maybe one other person in the top 29. Maybe one person in the top 20, right? Okay, so we've taken lower owned guys to try and get unique, and then we just get fucking obliterated because you just can't take out all the chalk in the back of the field, right? If we got our six lineups. If Busher doesn't crash, if Byron doesn't crash, if Chastain doesn't crash, if Cindric doesn't crash, if AJ Allmendinger doesn't crash, if Bubba Wallace doesn't crash, if Reddick doesn't crash, right? I just have, you know, 7 drivers there that are going to outscore my lineups and my drivers, right? Like this is a really, really difficult slate from that type of perspective, right? Um, and the issue comes from like I don't think these guys in the back of the field, like, okay, Busher might come in at like, I'm guessing, just kind of shotgunning, might come in at like 56 to 68. I'm just guessing, right? That's pretty okay starting last with that car, right? Byron, starting, same thing, going to be in the 50s, right? Like, I would not be shocked to see Busher, Byron, Chastain, Cindric, all in the 50s, right? That's a big portion of that field that has those guys in there. Yes, you can fade them and stuff, but like I just think they have a real chance of actually finishing well in this race, more so than like normal, right? Um, I think my like favorite like realistic building plays are just using people who like this is literally their first race, or typically people who don't get a lot of ownership, and that's really the people from like you know, Connor Zilic started 32nd, Jimmy Johnson 31st, Zane Smith 30th, Corey Heim 29th, Riley Herbst 28th. Like that, I think that's like our realistic chance of trying to find lower owned guys that somewhat work. And even still, then they should carry ownership because these are the idiots that are going to be paired with the more owned guys from 35th on back, right? That's why that's why I was talking so much about Gregson, Jones, Custer, because that's like the natural progression. That's the pivots off the pivots, right? Um, you know, I just think it's going to be. I think we're going to have a lot of close lineups. I think there's a real chance that we have more than normal duplications for this race. So we got to keep that in mind. I also haven't even mentioned like really Denny Hamlin, Alex Bowman, um, like here's a lineup that I'm just not going to play. But like this seems to be like if you're in cash or whatever, right? Like it's probably going to want you to play William Byron, Cindric, Busher. You have 7,500 remaining on that lineup, right? Chastain's 81. You have 7,200 left, right? That's leaning towards high floor, high ceiling upside, right? It might even throw you a bone of like, okay, we're going to play Bubba Wallace, and then you're still left with so many people in the back of the field. Like, there's going to be a lot of good lineups. Like, even brain dead, like amoebas are going to play a lot of decent lines today, um, and that's really really unfortunate. Let me check out the chat here that I've waited. Uh, I don't think it even matters, especially with the Chevy changes here. I would not prioritize really any manufacturer over another one. We're just focused on guys in the back, and if anything, there's way more Chevys in the back of the field than Fords. We have a mention for Alex Bowman here. Good morning, Mike. Since we're not fading the good drivers in the bag, yeah. So I don't even know how many lines I end up with. I think I have like 140 unique lineups. My own exposures, I'm the highest on. I think my highest guy is at 51. Cool. James retweeted my stuff. I think I got a max. My most exposed driver is 51%. So I'm still under. I'm hopefully under any major chalk plays. I'm just hoping that 51 is enough. And I'm really like, I think this is a race where you look back at the optimal and you're like, fuck, I could have made that. Like I could have done that. Like, you know, I think there's a real chance today. So I have my exposure capped at 51, or just naturally. I think I have like 51 than a ton of people. Like my entire pool is like in the 40s, right? Which situation? Um, First and foremost, she's a victim. Let's just get that out. Very unfortunate that she was groomed, right, by her future husband. Um, Secondly, ARCA breaking. I mean, whatever, right? Everybody's celebrating Casey Mears for it, and then this happens. You vilify Natalie Decker. Like, I don't know, man. I thought that was a pretty cool crash. Yeah, Busher is the play. There's just no way that like he's going to compete to be optimal. I'm just hoping. I'll be frank. He's my highest owned guy. He's the guy I have at 50. You know, I think he works. If he doesn't work, I'm hoping that 50 is enough to both be there if he does well. Because I'm really focusing on trying to be unique on those lineups. And if he doesn't do well, I still have literally half my pool to work with. Even with, and Bush is probably gonna end the day with at least like a minimum 18 points. But I think Busher could fucking like score like 65 like easily today and just lock himself in, right? I have no idea. He's wrecked literally like 7 times in every race this week. We'll see what's going on here. Someone from Gibbs, Hendrick, or Michael Jordan Racing going to win. That would be Bubba Wallace. Yeah, I guess so. He might get his first win today. We'll see. Hello. The amoebas, yeah. See, man. People love amoeba. If you're in real life and you call somebody an amphibian or an amoeba in an argument, like that just destroys them, right? Like you don't even have to like really curse people anymore. You just call them like any of those silly goober things, and it pisses them off more than normal. Okay, new to NASCAR. Welcome to just like getting your teeth kicked in and like tased like every week, right? Min salary, set it to 0. Max salary, set it to whatever the fuck you want. These races don't matter. This race next weekend, this is the plate racing, chaotic stuff, wild variants. This is, we do these races 6 times a year. So there's like 17, 16 slates of these a season out of the 96 in total. So the real racing or whatever starts like in March, right? So like good luck. First time playing NASCAR. Like just Godspeed and get ready to be tilt. Get ready to tilt a lot. What's going on? Buckshot Jones, the famous NASCAR driver. Probably not. I hate these transitions. Yeah, it's going to be really tough. You're going to have a lot of dumb people, a lot of people who don't have any ability to do anything at these racetracks. They're probably going to score very well today. I mean, I guess I don't know why we're talking about Briscoe. He's starting second. I'm not concerned about that. Yeah, for real. I'm happy to see you. But since I'm streaming on so many different things right now, I don't see the normal YouTube username. So apologize if I do see people that don't really watch my stuff, but I'm seeing different account names today. But happy to see you, Propagator. Okay, so range for Ty Dillon. What do you mean? What do you mean by this? What do you mean by this question? Let's just analyze Ty Dillon very very quickly, right? We will just very quickly do this. We don't even need to do anything too crazy. Let's okay. This should be, if I'm not a moron, when it leans this way, I always forget. This should be length greater than 1 mile, right? And I always remembered because in like elementary school, okay, they were like, what is less than? You use your left hand and make this. But I always click this dumbass thing wrong. I always hit the wrong button here. So let's see if that's less than or greater than. And we're not wrong, but I didn't put the right uh, I didn't put the right length of the track. All right, let's try this again here. Let me make sure we're at the right tracks. Cool. Well, now we're getting Austin. Whatever, that's fine. We don't really give a shit that much. Let's look at Ty Dillon and his ability to not wreck vehicles. Obviously, take out Austin. 23rd at Talladega. Okay, we got to go way more. 22nd, 20th. You get the idea, right? The range of Ty Dillon is he should have a baseline finish of like 25th, right? From a DK points projection, you can, if you're on PayDirt, I've showed it quite a lot this year, and I've worked very hard on the ability to look at how people are going to perform with the range of outcomes. I'm going to see if I can put this in a way that doesn't get rid of stuff here. Let's see really quick here. Yeah, well, I'm gonna zoom it in like a freaking maniac. This is some of the stuff that you can find at PayDirt, right? And you can notice that the percentages of these guys in the back of the field, right, performing or finishing the top 20, top 20, top 25, you'll see top 30 and stuff as well, is extremely, extremely high today, right? Now, this is just a pretty, because I still use my one projections here. Yet again, we don't really need projections. We just have an idea of who's going to perform well. But Ty Dillon is on the lower end because there's so many people in the back of the field. But my raw projection of him is 37 points. His ceiling is 58. You look at everybody else's ceiling, like Busher, right? Busher, Cindric, like these guys should easily be competing for like 60 plus points today. So yet again, Ty Dillon has a pretty good range of outcomes. There's just so many good people around him that um, that it's gonna be pretty difficult today. Like he might be a one-off that works here. Another message, okay. I mean, I like Ty Dillon as a pivot play too. I think Dillon probably approaches. I think Dillon's going to be like 29% owned. There's no reason for anybody from Zane Smith on back to be any less than like 24% owned. There's just no reason, right? So we'll see. I really hope, man, but they got all these stupid flaps, and they're ruining this car. This car is not gonna be able to get airborne anymore, unless like the only way it flips over now is if they're spinning and somebody hits them. But they're just not gonna blow over by themselves anymore. And I think, unfortunately, we might be done being able to roof or catch fences with this car because they have ruined this car. It's too safe. It's too safe. You guys see that Earnhardt documentary when that guy's like, racing, I hate when people say racing isn't as good as it used to be. And he's like, I don't want to see people die anymore. And I'm like, nah, racing sucks now because it's too safe. Okay. This is a better single entry day or 20 max day. This is you're playing whatever crap is left in the lobby. It doesn't really matter. You're playing the same guys. I don't think it goes one way or the other. Like if you want to sit there and play a $12 contest with 3,000 people in it, you're literally playing just the good guys in the back, right? If you're playing the 25, you're just playing the good guys in the back. There is no ifs, ands, or buts. Don't play cash. But it really doesn't even matter today. Let's see what else. I would say like 27 or not 27, like 17 to like 21% ownership. Somewhere around there. But there's a real chance that he doesn't. Okay, we've been here before, right? We've been here before where people wreck and like the best he can finish at the end of the day is like 16th, right? Like, which is fine. But I don't really have any confidence in like any pivots like actually being able to outscore people. This is just a real stinker of a contest. It really sucks. FanDuel's the same way. I am playing FanDuel. But yet again, it's play the guys in the backfield. Don't get too cute. Or I guess you do. Like it doesn't matter, right? But like, there's just a real chance all the major chalk in the back comes through. So there's that. Yeah, I don't think we're dying. I just don't think anybody's getting injured today. Big unfortunate for all the 5%ers out there. Happy lottery day. He is going to be the lowest owned of the guys in the back, right? But like, how are people going to use him, right? Even lineups that aren't using extremely owned plays are probably still going to have BJ because he's by default the lowest owned guy in the back of the field. So people are going to migrate to him to try and get their lineup to be unique, right? So they're either using like Busher, Byron, Cindric. I'm going to use BJ McLeod. He's low owned, and then I'm going to pick two other guys, right? And I'm even still concerned about those lineups having anywhere from like 3 to 10 dupes. I guess it doesn't really matter in a contest of 70,000, right? It's still 500K to first, but I don't know how you really have a unique lineup today, especially because look, this is usually how I play anyway. My pull is usually from the last guy to like mid 20s or whatever, and I just jam 150 lines with those anyway, and I usually end up having to try to get pretty different to get unique. And now it's just all the good guys in that situation. I think duplications are going to be an issue today, even hand building and stuff. No, I fucking hate like this slate is horrific for like anybody in the top 20. right? I can lean to Gibbs, Priest, Gilliland, Mears, I guess. But like 16th on up, those drivers have so many people that are going to outscore them. I just say, and yet again, like this is where, maybe the edge is, maybe we do get some dead money, but like the only way somebody in the top 15 works is if they win the race, right? And even still, I showed the ranges of outcomes. I showed and not even being that aggressive on terms of where people are at. Like, I got Busher finishing just in like raw projections. Let me find this freaking moron. I'm giving Chris Busher a 20th place finish today, and he's gonna destroy the field. I gave Byron, I gave Chastain 16th. These are guys who, like, I'm not even projecting them to compete for like a top 3, right? They're just finishing slightly above halfway, and they're annihilating the field, right? Um, so if you're playing somebody in the top 15, they have to win the race, right? Why kill a lineup with, oh, maybe this guy will win the race. Oh, maybe, I'll play Christopher Bell starting 12th to get different. Why kill that lineup? And like, because if he doesn't win, that lineup is literally having no chance of probably cashing, because you're going to have one driver scoring, in the 30s or 20s, where you literally have, Zane Smith, who is probably going to be scoring 48 points today. Jimmy Johnson probably scoring 50 something points today. Like, from a tout perspective, like, just don't play anybody in the top 15, even they get cute. Like, the risk is just not worth it today. That really doesn't matter to me. Um, yeah. Yes. So that is literally the only thing that can happen. Last time that happened was 2021, I believe, um, where they wrecked early, and I'm pretty sure it was Bell and Byron, and other drivers. They wrecked them back extremely early. But even still, we didn't have that much chalk that day. It was like those two big guys, if I'm not mistaken, or one of those years. I'm pretty sure it was a 500. Um, and I just don't think that happens. I mean, so you got to remember that we have so many people going to the rear of the field that anybody who has a starting grid or starting position in the 30s just by default starts the race like +7 place difference with everybody going to the rear of the field, right? So they're not even the back of the field. They're like mid-pack now, right? Like, um, handling is going to be huge. Okay, so stepping aside from DFS, NASCAR handling. Daytona is thick, it's got character again, right? Handling's a big concern. Um, Now, yet again, we're probably going to see them get bunched up together and not really be able to move anywhere, right? But there are situations where if we do see checkups or stack ups and they don't wreck, NASCAR has been very reluctant to throw yellows this week. New precedent, maybe, I don't know, incompetence, who knows? Um, my biggest worry today is that somebody gets loose off of 4, they save the car, people check up, and then the field gets spread out, right? Because if this field gets spread out today from pit stops, from a checkup or whatever, I think they go green. Uh, and especially, we're racing to weather, right? When does the weather hit? I don't know. Don't ask me. Like, you know, when does that happen? Do they get cute? Do they have a big wreck? Do they not have a big wreck? Do they have a one car spin that leads to a yellow that then ends the race, right? Like, um, all these situations, as long as they literally don't crash in the backfield on lap 3, the whole, like, chalk should come through, and we're just forced to play the chalk plays, and we're just hoping to have somewhat of a decent lineup at the end of the race, right? Let's see. Yeah, for real. Well, it's a lot better than sometimes. Sometimes Xfinity goes green, I just burn like $3,000 on a slate. So luckily, uh, fairly good this weekend, all things considered. That could be happening. 100% there. Yeah, this slate. I mean, everything advanced so fast. It's really crazy. Um, I didn't realize the All Star break. I don't think the All Star break has happened on the 500. Although I don't. I've just barely figured out what basketball is like a couple years ago. So I don't know. Ooh, man, we need a break from playing basketball to play more basketball. Hey, you guys want to see a dunk? You want to see me spin? I can dunk a ball. Like what? That's boring. They like what? I'll just watch Ukrainian Russian drone footage. That'll entertain me. Um, that would be ideally that's what you want. That is actually literally what you want. That is the best situation. But who is that young buck? Who's that young stud? Who's going to move up and wreck the field from first. Literally, it could be like any number of idiots. But ideally, that's what you want. Ideally, you want it to be Hocevar. Um, but yeah. And speaking of that, most yellows and most crashes in this race are going to start from the fourth position. The checkup's going to move back, and it's probably going to wreck those in 8th to 17th, right? That's how wrecks happen here, right? So, whatever. Yeah, I don't know. Well, we'll see. If it goes green at the end, plus, whatever. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. I think that's mainly it. Been here for 40 minutes. Realistically, play the good guys in the back of the field. Um, everybody is viable from 23rd on back. I would really try to not play, that is actually probably my only approach that I really did that has any swing today. I have 0 Bubba Wallace and 0 Tyler Reddick. Uh, I couldn't justify fading anybody else in the back half of the field. I don't have any Hamlin or Bowman as well. Hopefully that'll help me. But I mean, realistically, I don't know if it's gonna do much. Bubba's starting 27th. He's not that good of a play today. So I don't even know if that's gonna really keep me safe or anything like that. Go into the race day. Any tips for having a good time? I don't know why you went to this event. I don't know why you're going to this crap. I don't know. Have fun. Is it your first time? Maybe, I don't know. Enjoy being there. Go to Atlanta for literally pennies on the dollar cheaper, and you can watch the whole race. Uh, yeah, I don't know. And enjoy the 500. I guess I don't know how you enjoy going to Daytona. Um, I like Eric. Okay, the people that I like from a build perspective here, I really like Eric Jones. I really like Zane Smith. I would not be shocked if those guys are competing as like long shots or lower row guys. I really like those two guys today. What's going on, Top Gun? Happy to see you again. I think that's mainly it. Slate starts in 5 hours. So good luck, everybody. I guess I will talk to you for Atlanta next week. And where are we at? Main constant at 36,000 filled. 4 is still not filled, but we'll probably run out of people to throw 20 in there. I did not enter the 500. I did not enter the 180. I did not enter the 44 today because I don't like this grid. I'm already throwing so much at other contests. I did not enter the bigger ones with this because I just don't really like this grid. I think I think this is the hardest plate racing slate we've ever seen on DraftKings because there are just so many people who are going to perform well today. So I did not enter any of the bigger buy-ins. With that said, I have like 2,600 on DraftKings in terms of entry fees. Let's see what else. Lastly, I mean, it's just crazy how bad these idiots are in general. Like, why? It's so incredibly frustrating. Like Junior talked about it in one of his podcasts recently. He's like, I don't know how my team just can't 5v1 Austin Hill. I don't know how we just keep losing. I was like, Junior, it's because your team is filled with dumbasses. Like they have no clue how to do anything. The only driver in the field who used to be able to compete with Austin Hill is now in the booth. Because Kligerman was the only moron who was like, hey, you know how I try and get around Austin Hill? I just push everybody else around him and just don't push him. Any block he makes, just do my best to get around him. And nobody else can do that, right? So I fully expect Austin Hill to fucking dominate next week at Atlanta. He's gonna, these fucking jokers are gonna, he's gonna be on like 24% from the pole, and he's just gonna win the fucking race again because nobody wants to pass him, right? And then the truck race, we just didn't. I don't know how they. I don't know. There's so many King Kongs in the back of the or in the truck race, and they just didn't wreck either. Like this has been a rough race. Yeah, a lot of donkey lineups have been working this weekend. Unfortunate. I think that's mainly it. Yeah, good luck to you, Ronnie. I think that's mainly it. I will see you guys next week for Atlanta, and yeah, talk to you guys later. Thanks for tuning in, and bye bye.